Rules are meant to be broken, and today I wanted to talk about art rules and why we should break them. If you have gone to school for art, taken any classes for art, if you've read books on art, watched videos on art, chances are you've heard some kind of rule that you need to follow when you're creating, and I know I have. So today I wanted to talk about what are some of the rules that we are following that maybe we can break. The first rule that I followed, that I heard about many times and followed, was not using black from a tube. It was mixing your own black. And so that is one of the first rules that I tossed out of the garbage. I love using paint directly from the tube, and mixing my own colors in general is something that I personally don't enjoy doing. I enjoy finding the color in a tube and just using it. So this rule about mixing your own black specifically, I think people said it adds more richness to your painting. I don't. That's just a rule I've decided not to follow. And in this painting of the cat here, you can see I just added pops of black directly from the tube onto that painting. I just love the way it looks. I didn't mix any of those colors. I just used them all from the tube. Same with all of my paintings. So that's the first one I tossed out of the garbage. And I've watched videos and heard artists speak about how they mix all their own colors, and while that's wonderful, I personally like to dive right into the whole painting as well as drawing. I don't enjoy mixing the colors, so I've thrown that rule into the garbage can and I no longer follow it. The next rule I wanted to talk about was tracing. That is another one that they say you shouldn't do. So you shouldn't trace. There's lots of amazing artwork out there that started with tracing. Some folks get a projector and trace an outline of an image onto a canvas and then paint it. I personally think that there's different kinds of artists out there, and some of us love the drawing process and others maybe don't love the drawing process. If somebody's passion is painting and not drawing, and they're tracing an image on a canvas and then painting it, painting is an incredible skill. Just because somebody traced something and then painted it doesn't mean it's cheating. I challenge anyone to say that it is, to create something, to trace something and then paint it, because painting is really hard. So I don't think there's anything wrong with tracing, and that's a rule that can be thrown out, especially if you're in the beginning stages and learning. I think tracing is a great way to learn proportions. I think when I first started, there was a girl on YouTube. It was a young girl, and she was doing fashion illustrations. I loved her work. And she recommended tracing magazine images because it really helped you learn proper proportions. And so I am sure I did that, because drawing proportions takes practice, and sometimes tracing can really help you take your art to the next level. Okay, what is the next one? Here's a good one. Here's another rule that I've tossed in the garbage, is the color wheel. This is great. I bought it. I thought, oh, I should, because real artists do use the color wheel, but I don't use the color wheel just because I don't want to. I will typically take paint right out of the tube, and it's whatever colors I feel like using. I usually stick to some of the same shades. If you see my artwork, I love pink, I love cream, I love gray, and I love teal. These are some of my favorite colors, and so I know that I gravitate towards a lot of the same colors, and for whatever reason, that's just what I like, and so that's what I'll use. And any rules when it comes to colors, I don't pay attention to. And even though some people will say the color wheel is really important, I can guarantee you there's artists that have broken that rule and don't follow the color wheel and use whatever colors they want, and it still looks beautiful. If you don't break the rules, how are you going to push the boundaries? And isn't it every artist's sort of goal to see what they can do and see what they can create? What rules are we following that we don't even know we're following, because we think those are some kind of magical art rule that's going to make your art great? I am sure Picasso didn't follow all the rules. If you look at his faces, he created this whole way of drawing a face, so it's like every side of the face can be seen in just a flat image. He broke all the rules when it came to painting. Now, I think he said, know the rules to break the rules. Does it matter if you know that you're breaking the rules? I don't think it matters. Another rule that I'm in the process of breaking for myself is varnishing my artwork. I always varnished my artwork because that was the rule. And I had to do a lot of research about varnishing and whether or not, when it comes to an acrylic artwork, and I'm speaking about acrylic artwork, not oils or anything else, but when it comes to acrylic paintings, do you need to varnish your artwork? You don't have to varnish your acrylic artwork. When it comes to oil paints, and in the past, historically, oil paints were varnished with a varnish that could be taken off, restore that painting, and then put a new varnish on. But for a lot of acrylic paintings, the varnish that you add onto the painting cannot be removed to restore a painting that's 100 years old. While there is a reason for varnishing oil paintings, there's really not a reason to varnish acrylic paintings. And there's a lot of sort of back and forth about varnishing, but my research, because I just hated doing it, and every time I varnish a painting, I feel like it ruins, for me personally, I feel like it ruins my painting. It ruins my painting when I varnish it, because all the unique, some things I have are a matte finish, some things I have are a gloss finish, I've got gold acrylic paint, I've got all these things, different things going on, that when I varnish it, it sort of erases it all away and makes it look like one big either matte painting or one big semi-gloss painting, but all the sort of intricacies of that artwork, when you're looking at it in different light, is almost erased. And so every time I've varnished a painting, I've been disappointed and saddened by the results. And it took a lot of research to find that there are some famous art galleries that do not recommend varnishing acrylic paintings. And again, it's a rule. Okay, do I really expect my art to be living on 100 years from now? Probably not. I don't think I'm going to end up being some kind of famous artist. I'm really just doing it because I love it. So there's also some famous artists that, and I'll find, there's one in particular that I'll find and put in the description, that he insisted his oil paintings not be varnished. And however many years later, his oil paintings are still beautiful. So that's another rule that I still am wrapping my head around, is especially when it comes to selling. All the paintings I've sold before have been varnished, but I'm kind of taking a break right now and exploring new ways of painting for myself. But that's always in the back of my head. If I'm going to do new canvases, I really don't think I'm going to be varnishing them unless they're a mixed media or something that really needs to be varnished. So those are my rules that I have broken when it comes to art, and I would love to hear from you what some rules are that you have broken, or that you struggle with, or that you wonder, why am I following this rule? And what's the importance of it when it comes to art? I'd love to hear from you on what rules you want to break, or what rules you get tired of following when it comes to art. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.